Blake Granger looks to make up some ground on Tyler Menninga this weekend as he took last night's overall event championship. Can he repeat today? Or will the young phenom keep his freestyle streak alive in Gravedigger? Or will it be Caleb Blood taking out Max D and the black and green wrecking machine? One thing is certain, all 8 of tonight's drivers will need 3 times the focus, determination, and desire as the battle for the Triple Threat Series event championship begins right now. Welcome to Kansas City, Missouri, as 8 of the most elite triple threat driver athletes battle it out in an East Series event. This is the second of 4 competitions here in Kansas City, and it was Blake Granger and Max D that took the first overall event win, and he is certainly somebody to look out for today. Hello, everyone. I'm Scott Jordan alongside Zombies Bari Musawar, coming to you from the Sprint Center with Megalodon and Matt Isbell on the ground. And Bari, another exciting event in the Triple Threat Series. You are a veteran in this series, man. Talk about the difference between stadiums and Triple Threat and what fans can expect to see tonight.
Oh, man. Well, Scott, when it comes to Triple Threat, you have to really think about all the different competitions. In a normal Monster Jam, we just do racing and a Great Clip Skills Challenge, and, of course, everybody's favorite, which is freestyle. But what separates actual triple threat athletes from just the normal Monster Jam athletes is we got a donut competition we've got to do. You got to hone in on your skills when it comes to the ATV and the Speedster. So it's really grueling. It's very mentally tough as well.
Tonight's driver athletes will each battle it out in 6 competitions. We have Monster Energy Racing, the Great Clips 2-Wheel Skills Challenge, the Original Super Glue Donut Competition, BKT Freestyle, and we also will add ATV Racing and the Speedster Obstacle Course. Now, the winner of each competition is awarded a total of 8 points, with the top point earner being named tonight's overall event champion.
Yeah, Scott, with this many events, consistency is key. You have to be on your game and for each element of the show. So you definitely have to be conditioned physically and mentally. You got to be prepared to compete at a high level.
Here's the lineup for tonight's event at the Sprint Center. 2 World Finals champions and the always competitive Tyler Menninga and Gravedigger. Who stands out? Who do you think is going to walk away with the hardware tonight?
Oh, man, Tyler's tough to beat. I've competed with him in so many triple threat shows. We'll just see what happens, though.
And before we kick off tonight's event, Bari, break down the Triple Threat Series track.
Well, Scott, the Triple Threat Series East Championship competes on a more compact track layout than our stadium counterparts. And while the track may be smaller, the action is definitely not. With a single 8-sided pod to work with, the drivers have to be innovative and flexible when it comes to performing. For monster truck racing, it's not only about speed, but also finesse. If a driver hits either turning box, they will be automatically disqualified. And in these small venues, threading the needle is a key, man. And let me tell you, Scott, as a driver on the Triple Threat Series, the pressure to do that is immense.
And here in Kansas City, the size of the track will allow for Chicago-style racing, so these 12,000-pound Monster Jam trucks will get to chase each other around the track. Let's take a look at the bracket. That first matchup, Monster Mutt and Max D. Now, last night, Blake Granger and Max D finished last in racing, still went on to win the event championship. We'll find out what he can do in racing tonight. Lined up against Aaron Basil in Monster Mutt. We're ready for our first round 1 matchup. Here we go.
All right, they're off to a great start. Great first turn for Blake Granger. Let's see if he can finish this out. Oh, he's into that turn box, though, Scott. We just talked about that.
Gets up a little too high, hits the turning box. That is going to be a disqualification. So, again, Blake Granger, Max D not going to fare well in racing as Aaron Basil and Monster Mutt moves on. Here we go with Tyler Menninga in Gravedigger and Bernard Light at Alien Invasion.
Usually Tyler's so quick to get back on the throttle after completing a turn. As you see that first turn, we're into the final one. Let's see what happens.
This is a tough round 1 matchup. We're going to have to take a look at that again. They both look like they crossed the finish line at the same time. It'll be a matter of inches. So here's the Original Super Glue replay, and it looks like Alien Invasion with the upset so far of the night. We've only had 2 matchups, so that's going to stand as Tyler Menninga and Gravedigger is eliminated. Alien Invasion moving on. Last night's racing winner, Caleb Blood and Soldier Fortune against your teammate, Joe Urey and Zombie.
Yes, Joe Urey's a second-year driver. He's doing great so far. Kayla's been on her game ever since switching. Oh, no.
Look at Joe Yuri and Zombie is going to take this track and just turn it literally upside down. Let's take a look at what happened here to Zombie.
He just caught an edge. That's a traction roll. It's a tough break for Joe, but you know what? He'll come back to be Zombie another day.
Jack Brown, Megalodon, Armando Castro, El Toro Loco, their second semifinal matchup. And look at the start for El Toro Loco off the line.
That great turn for Armando. Let's see if he can finish this out. Jack Brown's in it to win it, though, around that last turn.
And that is going to be the difference. Like you said, the final turn so smooth for Megalodon. El Toro Loco, Armando Castro hit the brakes, and it is Megalodon advancing to the semifinals. Our final four is set. It'll be Monster Mud and Alien Invasion on one side of the bracket, and Soldier Fortune and Megalodon on the other side. Taking a look at those two matchups, Barry, going to be tough to determine a winner, but here we go. Bernard Light, Alien Invasion, Aaron Basil, and Monster Mud.
Man, I love the look of Alien Invasion with those LEDs flashing. Really a fan favorite.
Our Alien Invasion struggled around that turn, hit the brakes trying to avoid the turning box, but still gonna look at that speed burst at the end, still gonna move on to the finals. What a finish for Bernard Light and Alien Invasion.
Yeah, he's working off great momentum by taking out a heavy hitter earlier in Blake Granger and Max D. So let's check out this next matchup, though.
Last night's racing winner, Soldier Fortune, against Jack Brown in Megalodon, as Alien Invasion looks on. A great turn to start it off for Soldier Fortune, but here comes Jack Brown. A little struggles there on that turn.
Oh, yeah, Jack Brown went way wide in that last turn, and that's going to hand the win to Kayla. She's into the final round.
So our finals are set as you take a look at the original Super Glue glued to the action replay of that finish. It is going to be Bernard Light and Alien Invasion against Kayla Blood and Soldier Fortune. These two are incredibly fast. And, you're used to the time racing a lot in these buildings, but now we get that Chicago-style racing. We get that competitive edge in the finals. Who you taking to win the first 8 points of the night?
Man, it's going to be a tough matchup. I don't know. It's anybody's game. Whoever cannot make any mistakes, that's going to be your winner.
Even off the first turn as they both avoid the turning box. Bernard Light putting on a show here, but isn't enough, struggling in that final turn. And Soldier Fortune, Kayla Blood gonna get the racing win. What a great night so far for Kayla Blood as she gets her second racing win in Kansas City.
She's doing a great job. She stayed smooth and consistent all night, and she's in the winner's circle. Listen to these fans. They're going nuts.
The hot streak in Kansas City continuing for Soldier Fortune with a second racing win in a row. 8 points for Kayla Blood. Surprising to see Gravedigger and Max D at the bottom of the standings, but 5 more competitions remain. Still time for a lot to happen. Right now, let's go down to Megan with a very excited Kayla Blood, who now has her hands full as we transition to ATV racing.
Man, I come from ATV motocross background myself, but unfortunately when you take the racing win, you end up in the back of the pack. So I got some work to do. I got to catch up with these guys.
It is now time for ATV racing, and let's head to the track where Megan will break down the ATV racing competition.
Monster Jam fans, as you can see, I am down here in the tunnel, and our athletes have transitioned from their Monster Jam trucks to their ATVs. This is a true test of their Monster Jam University powered by UNOH training. There's a lot of upper body strength that goes on with these ATV races. So 4 athletes will race 4 laps in each heat, and their heat finishing order will determine where they start in our ATV finals.
Thank you, Megan. All right, let's take a look at the ATV brackets. Now, Barry, we have inside and outside lanes. As you see all the ATVs lined up, what are the advantages to being in the inside and outside lanes?
Well, you just get set up for that first turn, which is crucial to be able to get out front and have a good start, to be able to, 4 laps goes by really fast, so you want to have a good start.
We should point out in that front left spot, that is the 2019 ATV World Finals champion. That is Blake Granger and Max D. He jumps to the inside, barely missing that pole, and he now has the lead over Tyler Menega and Gravedigger.
Blake is so fast on these ATVs. That's what his background is in. So you expect him to be out in front, dominating this competition.
And if you don't know that's what his background is in, Barry, he will be happy to tell you that's what his background is in. Very confident, and he backs it up, man. He is the Todd LeDuc of ATV racing.
Yeah, he's definitely really smooth. I mean, Tyler is no slouch by any means on these ATVs, and look how far Blake has checked out from everybody else.
Now, you get 8 points by winning this competition. So what does it do to your confidence when you have to line up against the World Finals champion who dominates this competition each and every weekend?
You just really have to hope to contain him. There's no stopping him, really. He's done this too many times. He's been on his A game so many times in his career. You really just have to really hope for second place.
And showboating across the finish line, that is how it is done by the 2019 World Finals champion. Let's move now to ATV Racing Heat 2, Monster Mud and Alien Invasion on the inside, Megalodon and Soldier Fortune on the outside. So Jack Brown getting a little bit of a slow start there as Aaron Basil now taking the lead. Kayla Blood on his tail going to the inside, but then gets pushed back to the outside.
And as Kayla mentioned before, she's had to start in the back of the pack, but she's already worked her way up to second place. It's going to be tough, though, to catch Aaron.
Aaron Basil, Monster Mud with a sizable lead. This is the turn Kayla Blood tried to take the lead last time, not getting enough. She tries to go inside and then outside, but look at Aaron Basil boxing her out. That is a defensive move, and now he is using that to kind of keep his offense going here.
Aaron is definitely on the defense, you can tell, which can kind of cause frustration for that competitor that's behind you trying to pass you. Oh, as you can see right here, Scott, where's Bernard going?
Bernard is going to take a look at the track conditions, and look at Jack Brown. He just gets to go past everybody.
Wow, that was a crazy turn of events.
Here's a look at that replay. That just a traffic stop there, just getting bumped, tangled up. Bernard Light off the ATV, and Jack Brown just enjoying a leisurely stroll on the ATV past everybody else.
Well, let's see who's going to take the win then, because that's a little controversial there. Not really sure what to do there.
Controversial or not, it goes in the books as a win for Megalodon. So Jack Brown getting the win after that incredible finish to the final lap. We take a look at the ATV main event bracket. Max D, Megalodon in that front spot. Gravedigger, Monster Mud, Zombie, Soldier Fortune, El Toro Loco, and Alien Invasion. The final run under Black Flag rules. For more on that, let's go down to the track with Megan.
Kansas City, it is now time for our ATV Racing Finals, powered by UNOH, contested under our exciting Black Flag elimination. So all of our athletes will start at the exact same time, and after 2 laps, that's when our Black Flag eliminations begin. The athletes in 7th and 8th place will exit the track, and that will continue on until there are only 2 athletes remaining. Those 2 athletes will start back at the starting line, race a 2-lap race, and the winner of that will win 8 points towards their overall score.
Now in the ATV finals, we have all 8 ATVs on the track at the same time. Barry, talk about the challenges of having that many vehicles on the track, all trying to maneuver and get the win.
You know, Scott, this is where the conditioning really comes into play. You've got all 8 Monster Jam athletes on the track at the same time, and they're going to be jockeying for position. It's a short race, so it's anybody's game. You just want to make sure you get a good start.
You talk about conditioning. This is a very physical aspect of the Triple Threat series. So how do you go from racing, the Chicago-style racing we saw earlier tonight, to really not only just keep your mind going, but your body gets beat up in the truck, and now you have to go in and do this where you're physically trying to compete with 7 other athletes?
You just got to have that will to win, Scott. You got to have mind over matter, feed off the energy of the crowd, and away you go.
Green flag goes, and Blake Granger and Max D jumping out on front, had that great spot, gets the pole position. Gravedigger on his tail. Our second heat winner, Jack Brown and Megalodon in 3rd, and Kayla Blood and Soldier Fortune trying to overtake that 3rd spot. So the green flag's still out. It is Granger and Menego 1 and 2, Max D and Gravedigger as we expected in this ATV final.
Yeah, I mean, and Blake just looks right at home. He looks naturally comfortable on this ATV. He's already checked out to a commanding lead. It's really going to be tough for anybody to, try and catch up to him. The only thing that they can hope for is if he makes a mistake or if he catches up to lack traffic.
And the black flag now coming out. We have 2 that will be eliminated. There's some traffic going on right now between Armando Castro and Joe Uri. They cannot get out of each other's way. That is not going to bode well for them when the black flag is out again. So Zombie taking off, El Toro Loco off the track as well. And we're down to our final 4. Max D with a big lead over Gravedigger. Soldier Fortune still involved, but not any longer. The black flag sending Megalodon and Soldier Fortune off the track. And Bari, we're down to our final 2 competitors, Max D and Gravedigger.
Yes, one of the most storied rivalries in all of motorsports. Max D, Gravedigger, Blake versus Tyler. It's anybody's matchup, man. It's going to be fun to watch.
Blake Granger gets the lane choice in this reset. He seems to love the inside left lane. Is that where you would go if you won?
Oh, absolutely. If you can get to that turn first, you've got a good advantage of getting out in front first.
Here we go, our ATV Racing final. Max D on the inside, Tyler Menning and Gravedigger right behind him. It is going to be a battle here. Inside lane goes Gravedigger. What a move as Max D went outside, Gravedigger went inside, and now Tyler Menning with the lead.
That was very uncharacteristic of Blake to leave that door wide open. Tyler took full advantage of it.
This is only a 2-lap race, so now the work begins for Max D to try to gain the lead back, trying to push him out of the way, and he does, but they get tangled up, and it is a fight to the finish. Gravedigger going over the tire and takes the checkered flag. What a finish, and look at the wave. I love the confidence, man. Look at that. Talk us through this finish here.
That is awesome. I mean, what a great treat for the fans to see these guys banging bars and just battling to the very end. You know, and they almost go out of bounds. Blake is so close to the wall, and Tyler comes out victorious.
What a win, what a fight. Tyler Menega and Gravedigger getting 8 points. Blake Granger and Max D getting 7. So now 2 different winners here in Kansas City for our ATV Racing Finals. Let's join Megan with our ATV Racing winner, Gravedigger's Tyler Menega.
Congratulations, Tyler, taking your first win of the day in ATVs. It's got to feel pretty good.
Absolutely. You know what? He's hands down the best ATV rider I've ever rode with. If you can't pass me clean, I can get dirty too. You know what?
So, Barry, Tyler Menega with the win and then some shade.
Yeah, for sure. And it comes a good measure because those two go back and forth all season long. I love the camaraderie. I love the rivalry.
With that win, Tyler Menega jumping to second in the overall leaderboard. Caleb Blood, Soldier Fortune remains your overall event leader. We still have plenty to go here in Kansas City. We'll see if Blake Granger has a response for Tyler Menega as a Great Clip Skills Challenge and Donut Challenge are all next. The Great Clip Skills Challenge puts all of our competitors to the test as each driver athlete has 2 attempts at their best 2-wheel maneuver. It was a great competition earlier tonight at the Sprint Center in Kansas City. Let's show you the highlights and get to some of these incredible performances. We'll start it with Blake Granger and Max D with a great popper into a moonwalk on the pod.
Yeah, it's really good. I can't believe he only ended up in 5th place, though.
And Caleb Blood and Soldier Fortune with the sky wheelie, try to get a combo move, but then does get the combo move with the stoppie down the other side of the pod. So a great maneuver for her. She would finish in 3rd. Armando Castro and El Toro Loco, he gets the popper up onto the pod and then just does what he does and just lets it all go.
Very nice, man. This is one of the most nerve-wracking competitions because you're balancing a 12,000-pound Monster Jam truck on the front 2 tires. Amazing.
And it was Tyler Menega and Gravedigger pulling out all the stops to try and close the gap with Caleb Blood. Look at the nose wheelie, the precision, and the throttle control, and he wasn't done there. He would go into a moonwalk up the pod as he accelerates right here. Talk about the skill it takes to pull off this move.
It's just so much composure to be able to interpret what that truck is doing, you know, with your right foot and your left foot and your steering wheel. You know, it's just all comes into play. And for Tyler, he's done this so many times, I think he could probably do it in his sleep.
And he still was not done as he gets the wheelie on the backside. There's the score, 9.616. The fans clearly on the side of Gravedigger. He is your winner in the Great Clips 2-Wheel Skills Challenge as we take a look at the point standings. 8 points going the way of Gravedigger, El Toro Loco, Soldier Fortune finishing 2nd and 3rd. Let's join Megan and our winner.
My crew works hard on this truck. Sorry about the hood there, Nick. We got a couple down bars on the front end of that thing too. So, but I'll tell you what, it's all worth it. Look at this place. It's filled up with fans. That's all that matters to Team Gravedigger.
And the donut competition is coming up next. What can we expect?
You know, it's kind of tricky. This side of the track right here is pretty, it's rutted up, it's wet. That side down there is slick and dry. So if I had to pick a side, I'd like to be down there, but I don't get an option. I don't know what side I'm on. All I know is I'm going to come out here and spin the fastest donuts I can for you guys.
Our next competition, the original Super Glue Corporation Donut Challenge, always a fan favorite. And these donuts are about speed, control, and wow factor. Bari, you do this a lot on the Triple Threat Series. What makes a perfect donut?
You know, there's a lot of factors that come into play. Which side of the arena you get to do the donut on is huge because sometimes it's tacky, sometimes it's slick, sometimes one side is better than the other. It just really comes down to who gets the better side, I think.
And Tyler Menega talked about that, a little misstep for him. Bernard Light Alien Invasion getting a good traction here on the tires as he was able to get some solid rotations and revolutions with the donut. He would finish in 3rd overall. And then we move on to Blake Granger and Max D, who has had an up and down night. He would get some great traction with those tires and start spinning it around.
Yeah, you can see they've worn off the Monster Jam dirt down to the concrete, so you can really get spinning real fast on concrete like that.
But speaking of having a good night, it was his better half, Caleb Blood, who once again took the top spot. She came off from the one side of the track and just got into a groove, gets that front tire up, and that, Bari, is the winning donut. Look at the move.
Man, with some charisma at the end, too. The crowd loves it. They're into it. And of course, Kayla's just working off the momentum of earlier winning the racing bracket, too.
What a night for her it has been. Here are your donut point standings. Soldier Fortune, Kayla Blood behind the wheel. 8 more points for her. Her husband Blake Granger and Max D getting 7. And Bernard Light coming up into 3rd place. He will get 6 points. But we still got a long way to go here. This is why I love the Triple Threat Series, Barry, so much for these great fans in Monster Jam.
Yeah, Scott, and still, it's anybody's game. As long as you can be consistent, you've got a good chance at earning that overall event championship.
Kayla Blood and Soldier Fortune, a 4-point lead over Gravedigger, 7-point lead over Max D. But Tyler Menega, Blake Granger with some strong finishes have climbed back up into the competition for the overall event championship. Speaking of strong finishes, it is time to check in and take a look at our Monster Energy action of the week. And Barry, for this, we go to Stadium Championship Series Green at the Dome in St. Louis Center. This is Cam McQueen in Bro Camino with an epic Great Clips Skills Challenge.
Wow. Oh, my God. You can't plan that, man. That's awesome.
For over 30 years, Monster Jam trucks have been pushed to their limits, drivers demonstrating awe-inspiring big air jumps to astonishing technical moves, and that's why it's important to have partners who help keep our trucks performing at their best. Lucas Oil has made that possible. From transmission and hydraulic fluids to engine oil, Lucas Oil products are the lifeblood of Monster Jam. Welcome back to Monster Jam at the Sprint Center. This is the Triple Threat Series East Championship Tour. Scott Jordan, Barry Musauer on the call. Before we get into our Speedster obstacle course, Barry, there might be some trouble for your Zombie Nation teammate Joe Uri. Had some damage during donuts. Let's join Matt Isbell in the back with a UNOH pit report.
Joe Uri and Zombie were spinning the revolutions. He was losing his transmission. They've actually been fighting transmission problems since last night. Our techs right now that are powered by UNOH, some of our graduates from the University of Northwestern Ohio, they're working on this Monster Jam truck. And you can see we actually have Team Gravedigger, Team Max D, and Team Zombie all working together to get this Monster Jam truck back in tip-top shape, see if they can fix this transmission and get Joe Uri back for Monster Jam Freestyle.
Thank you, Matt. Hopefully Zombie will be able to return for freestyle as we get another good look at the crew working diligently. But Joe Uri can't worry about that right now as he has to pilot his Speedster, as it is now time for the Monster Jam Speedster obstacle course. Our athletes will race these Speedsters through the course featuring 5 turns and 3 jumps. The track has been designed to challenge these machines with their handling, agility, and speed, with competitors being immediately disqualified if they hit a turn pole. This competition is aggressive and unforgiving as the athletes will bump, bang, and pass one another to claim the event points towards the overall event championship. One of my favorite competitions, Barry, the Lucas Oil Speedster obstacle racing course. As we take a look at the bracket, should be noted that Armando Castro and El Toro Loco is a World Finals champion in Speedster racing. Not particularly this style with the obstacle course, but nonetheless, he's a master and a world champion at Speedsters.
Yeah, so I can't help to think Armando's probably got a little target on his back. You know, everybody wants to beat the champion.
And this is our first round 1 matchup. It is El Toro Loco against Monster Mutt. They go up on the pod and down pretty even, but there's a nice bump there, and El Toro Loco taking advantage of that. Monster Mutt couldn't get out of his own way, pretty much bumped El Toro Loco right in front of him, and El Toro Loco with an easy win here in round 1 of our Speedster obstacle course. So you mentioned the target on the back of Armando Castro, not a factor in this round 1 matchup.
No, it looks like, you know, when they were bumping and banging, Aaron looks like he probably dislocated something on the front tie rod of his Speedster, handing that win easily over to Armando.
El Toro Loco just had to cross the finish line. He did. Moving on to round 2. Here is our second round 1 matchup. It is Jack Brown, Megalodon, Kayla Blood, Soldier Fortune. Up to the pod they go. And Kayla Blood with a great move. Jack Brown with a little bit of trouble there trying to get around this turn. Kayla Blood moving forward.
Jack Brown just tagged that turn pole. That's going to automatically disqualify him.
And he tagged the second one as well. So it doesn't matter what happens from here on out. They are even coming up that pod, but there is that turn pole on the ground. That will be a DQ for Jack Brown. He may not know it yet. Obviously, he's still competing until the end, as driver athletes do. But Megalodon would get the win here as Kayla Blood and Soldier Fortune ends up on the hood. It doesn't matter. Soldier Fortune continuing her great night as she will move on now to round 2 in the Lucas Oil Speedster obstacle course.
We just have to hope that Kayla's Speedster survived that crash. That was an abrupt hit. So we'll see if she gets it. Oh, so you can see right there it's broken. So I bet Jack Brown might have a chance to come back.
This is a Jack Brown night tonight. He gets to ease his way into ATVs, and then he gets to come back into round 2 for being disqualified. Here we go with Joe Uri and Zombie and Gravedigger's Tyler Menegal. What a great move for Zombie, getting out in front of Gravedigger.
Oh, Tyler's in trouble. Maybe Joe's luck will turn around with this Speedster obstacle course. He's out in front with a commanding lead. Hopefully he can just finish this out and move on to the next round.
Joe Uri having some issues in the pits with the Monster Jam truck, but not a factor here in the Speedster obstacle course. Gravedigger is in fact disqualified, and Zombie will advance to the semifinals. Here comes Max D and Alien Invasion. Blake Granger takes a little shortcut off the pod.
Yeah, I don't know about that. They might DQ him for that one too. He kind of cut down the course there. We'll see what the officials say when it comes to town to seeing who's advancing and who's not in this race. Right now, Blake's got a commanding lead though.
You mentioned it, the big lead out in front. We'll see if that holds when he crosses the finish line, eases around the final turn. And there he goes, Max D up and over the finish line, and no disqualification for Max D. So Blake Granger will now advance to the semifinals. There's the 2 matchups, El Toro Loco, Soldier Fortune Zombie, and Max D. We had those fierce round 1 battles, and due to mechanical issues, Soldier Fortune will not be able to return. That would usually mean the loser of Soldier Fortune's earlier race would take her spot, but since Megalodon was disqualified, that spot goes to the next fastest time, which belongs to Bernard Light and Alien Invasion. So it'll now be Alien Invasion against El Toro Loco and Zombie and Max D for a spot in the Lucas Oil Speedster Obstacle Course Finals. So Barry, Bernard Light, Alien Invasion gets a shot at redemption here.
All right, Bernard's got a reprieve. Let's see if he can make it work for him and, pay off, capitalize off of that. He's got an early lead. Oh, but he tags that turning pole.
It is that same turn pole, Barry, that has been the difference tonight with a lot of these drivers. When you're in the Speedster, how difficult is it to see that in the first turn?
You can see it like night and day. It's no big deal, but apparently these guys are just sliding into it. And I want to see a good, clean race with an exciting finish. Let's see if we can get it coming up as Armando crosses the finish line for an easy win.
The 2019 World Finals champion moves on to our finals. He'll meet the winner of this matchup. It is Blake Granger and Max D, Joe Uri and Zombie as they get ready to square off. Now up the pod they go. Zombie with a slight advantage around the first turn, and Max D just bumps Zombie over. So Joe Uri now on the hood and the roof of Zombie. Now, this is an interesting rule here. They didn't get around the first turn, so they need to restart this race.
Yeah, and they're going to restart it. And those wrecks right there in those Speedsters, that actually hurts. So hopefully Joe's all right, and probably, is going to fuel his fire to be a little bit more aggressive around that first turn.
He will get another opportunity here as we have now reset. They're at the starting line. One will advance to our finals against El Toro Loco. Back up to the pod they go again. Zombie with the advantage.
Yes.
Max D letting him pass. So Zombie getting around that first turn. No turn pole damage right there at all. They go around the second turn now. Zombie still in the lead. Max D now catching him up across the pod. They go now down around the turn again. A complete flip-flop here on the other side of the track as Max D now with a sizable lead just has to get around this turn and cross the finish line. But Zombie pushing him to the limit. There's your exciting finish, Barry. Max D moving on to the finals.
So close. It's all good though. Zombie arms are still waving strong here.
Not a surprise to see Armando Castro, a reigning World Finals Speedster Racing champion, in the final. He will meet last night's winner, Blake Granger, and Max D. One will get the 8 points towards tonight's pursuit of the overall event championship. The fans are ready. They are loaded for this final. Here we go up the pod as Armando Castro with an advantage going around the first turn. But look at Max D getting the inside lane and shoving El Toro Loco to the outside.
Yeah, and that just disabled tie rod on Armando's Speedster. Both these guys are really aggressive. Blake came out with the upper hand on that as he's going to cruise around. If he can finish this out, it's an easy 8-point victory for a Speedster win.
And just now cruising around that final turn, making sure he doesn't hit the turn pole. And there he is up on the pod. Your Speedster Obstacle Course winner going back-to-back in Kansas City. It is Blake Granger and Max D. And Barry, that is exactly what he needed to do to stay in the hunt for the overall event championship. As we take a look at the point standings for the Lucas Oil Speedster Obstacle Course, Gravedigger, Soldier Fortune only get 2 points apiece. That opens up the door for everybody else.
What a great momentum boost for Blake to go into freestyle. This is his first competition win of the night. See if he can close this one out strong.
Congratulations, Blake, on your Speedster win. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. You know, we had a tough start to the show. We knocked over a box in racing, had a battle to the finish with Gravedigger and ATVs. Two-wheel skills didn't go my way, but hey, the show's not over yet. We got freestyle coming up next.
And with that win, Blake has now closed the gap on his wife, Kayla Blood, to only 1 point, clearly showing how quickly the tides can change here on the Triple Threat Series.
For sure. I mean, this is a cool storyline. You've got a husband and wife that are competing for an overall event championship, but do not count out Tyler Meninga in Gravedigger. He could steal this whole show away from both of them.
This is Monster Jam, and this is the Triple Threat Series East as our drivers are about to hit the track and kick up action as we begin our freestyle competition. Now let's take a look at how this event is scored. Each of our drivers will attempt a freestyle run filled with non-stop action, flow, like this incredible sky wheelie from Max D into a popper down the freestyle pod, momentum like my good friend Barry Musauer coming across the pod, and then back down, and then wow moments like Blue Thunder in this stoppie into a reverse moonwalk. It's special moments like this that allow these drivers to push their Monster Jam trucks to its limits. Each driver is awarded a score by you, the audience. Fans in attendance at our Monster Jam events provide each driver a score immediately following their run. Now, fans judge our drivers based on a number of things, including creativity, technical moves, as we see El Toro Loco getting a wheelie across the freestyle pod, bringing it back down into a nose wheelie. And combinations like this one with Gravedigger getting a backflip into another nose wheelie. And of course, you have your wow moments like this huge air from Zombie. However, to qualify for a score, drivers must complete the first 20 seconds of their run. Our talented technicians were able to get Zombie back on the track after those transmission troubles following donuts. This is your teammate in Zombie Nation, Joe Uri. Barry broke in 2019. Tell us a little bit about this Zombie superstar, Joe Uri.
You know, Joe's come so far since he started. I mean, he's perfected the moonwalk, and I can't wait to see what he's got in store for these great fans here in freestyle. Oh, no, he's so heartbreaking when that happens.
The troubles continue after the crew was able to get it together, just takes the turn a little too wide, and Joe Uri in Zombie is done with his freestyle run. Now we move to Armando Castro and El Toro Loco. There's a nice sky wheelie to start off this run.
Yeah, and he's got the tall task of, setting the bar. Joe kind of fell on his face there. It happens to the best of us. Armando is going to set the tone. He's got to get past that first 20 seconds, keep up the momentum. He's doing a great job so far.
Armando Castro and El Toro Loco, a talented superstar driver athlete, now a world champion. Last year in Orlando, won the Speedster Racing Championship, so he gets a World Finals trophy, and now he is in the history books. What's he going to do next here? El Toro Loco now speeding across the other side of the track. Talk a little bit about the track conditions now, as we've had now 5 competitions in this event, plus last night's event as well.
Yeah, by now the drivers, the athletes should be familiar with what the dirt is going to give them. The trucks are ready for freestyle. The fans are for sure ready. So it's just time to let it all hang out.
Combo move there from El Toro Loco. Got the sky wheelie into a stoppie. Not much leverage at the end of the stoppie, but there's a nice sky wheelie from
Perfect.
El Toro Loco. That's how you get the fans up on your feet. Tried for a stoppie again on the far side, and now he is slowing down a little bit. Possible truck issues there for Armando Castro.
Yeah, he had such a great leap right there, and it was a shame he had to stop because he had great momentum going. So he's just trying to compose himself, I see, to keep going.
A little tough to keep that momentum going when you have to come to a complete stop. He's able to get one more jump there, and he's your new leader, Armando Castro, El Toro Loco. So not a bad run. Now we go to Jack Brown in Megalodon out of New Smyrna Beach, Florida. Jack Brown, we've talked about him a little bit tonight and through the various competitions, but he's been around for a couple years. He's a part of J.R. McNeil's Raising Cane Monster Trucks, and Jack Brown's a great freestyle athlete.
Yeah, for sure. Anytime you can put together your own Monster Jam truck, which is what Jack Brown has done. He's got a brand new piece for this season, and he's doing a great job so far. But Jack really works hard. He puts a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into maintaining these trucks and making sure they're running in tip-top shape.
And let's talk about that a little bit. He's an accomplished technician. You mentioned building the monster trucks from the ground up. So you guys as athletes and driver athletes throughout these competitions with, possible 5 event weekends, 5 competitions, 6 competitions, his work doesn't stop, as many of you don't. So you have a little bit of free time and you have to fill it by working on your trucks as well. Talk about that responsibility.
It's a huge responsibility because you want to make sure, for one, that your truck performs up to its potential. And 2, the fans, they deserve the best show possible. They spend their hard-earned money to come out and see Monster Jam, so you got to make sure you're dedicated to making sure that these trucks are always running.
Jack Brown in Megalodon now spinning it back around, trying to make something happen. You got one, fairly big obstacle here as he gets a stoppie attempt off that. You've done stadium events as well where you have race ramps and step-up ramps, but not the case here, so you have to adjust to one obstacle in the middle of the track. Jack Brown was not able to get much done there, but talk about an athlete like Caleb Blood who has performed in stadiums. How do you make that transition when you literally have to be creative here in arenas?
Yeah, I often tell people being creative is the name of the game when it comes to these arena-type pod tracks, because in order to wow the crowd, you can't necessarily get that huge air because you're in a confined space. So if you're able to bring something out of your hat that nobody else has done, you're ahead of the game. And Kayla's always one up for that. Let's see what she's got here.
Caleb Blood and Soldier Fortune is currently your event points leader as she approaches now the 8-pack, gets the tires up and doesn't quite have the momentum. What went wrong for Soldier Fortune on the backflip attempt?
You said it, Scott. It's all about momentum, and I feel like she should have backed up and took her time to be able to pull off that backflip, and the crowd would have went crazy.
Despite not landing the backflip, she is your current freestyle leader as we take a look at the BKT Top 5 overall point standings. Caleb Blood, a 1-point lead over Blake Granger, a 4-point lead over Tyler Menega. This is Bernard Light, Alien Invasion. You know Bernard very well. You've been up and down the road with him. Talk a little bit about his competitiveness in the Triple Threat Series.
He's new to the sport, though. He's only been around for a couple years, but he's determined to be able to master this craft. And it's a lot. It's a learning curve when it comes to driving these Monster Jam trucks, especially inside of confines like an arena setting. So hone in on your skills and gain that seat time is so important when it comes to driving.
Bernard Light is a graduate of Monster Jam University, presented by UNOH. Tom Mentz, the professor of Monster Jam, his teacher in developing the skills here like many young Monster Jam superstars. Made his debut a few years ago. Now Alien Invasion has become a brand for him, but he's out of Orlando, Florida. Kind of came in a different background. He has a background as a stuntman with Marvel Universe Live. So this athlete played Spider-Man in a show and now is driving a 12,000-pound Monster Jam truck. What a story for Bernard Light.
Yeah, for sure. And the truck sounds a little bit off, like he might be stuck in first gear. Not sure. He's real close to the boundaries, but they're going to let him ride. Let's see if he can continue on.
Bernard Light now up and down over the pod. Not anything spectacular here from him. We've seen some great wow moments for him, but this is what happens when you have these truck issues. You go into a donut, and that gets the fans going. So that gives him a fairly decent score for having those issues throughout his run.
Yeah, man, he's came on third place currently. Not bad showing. We're going to see what happens, though, in the overall event championship standings.
And here is Aaron Basil out of Oregon. His brother Darren Basil, also a driver in Monster Jam. You look at Aaron Basil's resume. He has worked for multiple world champions, came up through Jimmy Creton's 2 Extreme Racing, then went and worked for Pablo Huffaker, and then now he's alongside J.R. McNeil again with Raising Cane Monster Truck. So he's got the pedigree from learning from world champions. J.R. McNeil is one of the best in the business at teaching and developing young stars. So Aaron Basil has a resume to back it up. We don't hear a whole lot about him, though, throughout these competitions. So what does Aaron Basil need to do to win freestyle tonight?
He just needs to bring it. He needs to surprise everybody with a wow factor. And Aaron's been around a long time. Him and his brother know exactly what to do. They know these Monster Jam trucks from top to bottom, inside and out. They could put one together from scratch. So they definitely know what's going on. And it's great to see them still battling out here in this Triple Threat Series.
Monster Mutt now coming back around the other side, up over the pod, looking for a sky wheelie. Doesn't get much there, bringing it back down. Monster Mutt Rottweiler trying to compete with the big trucks in this business. Gravedigger Max D, Soldier Fortune at the top of the leaderboard needs something spectacular, which we know, watching Aaron Basil through the years, he can deliver that. It is not going to be his night tonight, though. 5th place currently with that 5.843. Here's your BKT leaderboard. Kayla Blood still out in front overall, also still out in front in this competition, so she has set herself up nicely, but her husband can rain on her parade. Imagine that ride home if your husband just knocks you out of the leaderboard.
Yeah, no pressure, Blake. Let's see if he can close it out, though.
Speaking of knocking somebody out of the leaderboard, Tyler Menega has done that throughout his young career. I mentioned earlier he has won 3 consecutive Triple Threat Series championships as he gets a nice jump over the pod. Nearly clears it, just clips the back tires, looking for his 4th straight championship. He's won them all, East, Central, and West. And Barry, I hate to say this, but he's defeated you on quite a few of those series.
Yeah, Scott, that's absolutely right. But steel sharpens steel. He's one of the fiercest competitors out here on the Monster Jam Triple Threat Series. So to be able to compete with him on a high level, it just makes me just that much more of a driver. And Tyler is no slouch when it comes to winning. He always wants to do good and win no matter where he's at. And he's not afraid to put Gravedigger through its paces just to do that.
Gravedigger won freestyle here last night. He's got to win it again tonight to win the overall event championship. There's the big air for Gravedigger, 36. He's going to land on the side. Can he save it? And Tyler Menega cannot make the save, and that will be the end of his hopes to win freestyle in the overall event championship, as now Kayla Blood has an even better shot knocking off Gravedigger. And we're down to our final competitor here in freestyle, and there's only one name, Barry, that can walk out of here with the overall event championship, and that name is Granger. It's either going to be Kayla Blood Granger in Soldier Fortune or her husband Blake Granger, who wins freestyle in the overall event championship.
That's got to be gratifying as a husband and wife duo to be out here competing on a high level, knowing that one of you is going to walk out here with an overall event championship. That's great for their family. But I don't know, man. They're both fierce competitors, so it just depends. Blake is going to have to pull out all the stops to be able to beat his wife in freestyle to take that championship away from her.
Max D won the event championship here last night, trying to go back-to-back. That is a tough feat in any stadium, any arena all over the world. He tried for some big air, grounds it a little bit in Max D, so he's got to spin it around again. Now, it's interesting to point out that Kayla Blood, even though she's the leader, did not get a very high score, still in the high 7s, so Max D just needs one wow moment, one special move to maybe get up in the 8s. He's getting the air now. He's got the sky wheelies flowing as the truck starts falling apart.
Wow, that was cool. Yeah, it just takes that one moment in time where you can grasp the fans and just really grab their attention. Yeah, that might be it. That was awesome. You hear the fans buzzing just from that one move.
The one tire stopping for Max D. What's he going to do next? Back up over the ramp, clearing the pod. Going to spin it back around as the seconds start ticking away here for Max D's freestyle run. Again with the air. Try to get a stoppie. Not quite getting the back 2 tires up. And there's a score, 8.648. Your freestyle winner is going to be Blake Granger in Max D. What a finish. There's your overall point standings. It came down to the wire with freestyle keeping fans on the edge of their seats. And it's marital bliss at the top of the leaderboard as Blake and Kayla now tie for the overall event championship in points. But with the higher freestyle score and the win, it's Blake Granger and Max D that wins his 2nd straight overall event championship. I'm sure this will keep the competition fierce between he and Tyler Menega in Kansas City. For Barry Musauer, Megan Lamani, and Matt Isbell, I'm Scott Jordan. Thank you for watching Monster Jam.